Hey, it's James here. Now, if you are thinking about launching an app for your radio station, perhaps you want to create an app for your radio station which is unique to you, like a companion app, well, watch this video to the end because I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how you can do that, but also discussing why now is a great time to be creating an app for your station. Now, there's over 2 billion apps out there and there's over 1 billion smartphone devices. So if you've not already got an app, it's probably time to start thinking about getting one. But let's dive in and find out more. Hey, so quickly, if you're new to this channel, my name is James Mulvaney. I'm an entrepreneur working within the audio space. I'm founder and CEO of radio.co, podcast.co, matchmaker.fm, and also Q. So you can go and check them out if you like. And also, if you like content like this about radio and podcasting and growing your audiences, then hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications because I'm always pushing out new content like this. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about apps and particularly radio apps. So is it important for you to build a dedicated app for your radio station or even for your podcast? And what are the benefits of doing that? And these are the questions I wanted to answer in today's video, and also give you some tips on how you can actually go about creating an app for your radio station, even if you're not a developer, you don't have any technical knowledge. I'll be talking about the solution that we've got available to you towards the end of this video. So the first thing is really about accessibility and making sure that people are not forgetting who you are and making sure that you're getting those repeat listeners that we all want. And it's really important that you get your listeners to download your app because then they have access to you on the go. So it doesn't matter if they're at home or if they're out and about, maybe driving the car, or if they're in the gym or they're walking to work or wherever it is they might be, people are listening and consuming more audio online digitally than ever. And if you don't have a dedicated app, it probably means that people aren't going to be as easily able to access your radio station. So the first thing to think about is accessibility, how easy it is for someone to hit that button on their smartphone and tune in directly to your radio station. Pretty important, huh? The second thing is using a dedicated app versus relying on a third-party, maybe directory app such as TuneIn or radio.net. This gives your station a dedicated home and it also helps eliminate the competition. So if your station's listed on one of these directory apps like TuneIn, for example, there's constant noise. Your listeners are constantly saying, well, have you checked out this radio station? Have you checked out this radio station? But if you've got your own app, it's all about you, and you can list not only just your actual live stream, but other stuff that's going on in a radio station. So for example, you might want to share your schedule, you might want to share who's on air, what song is currently playing, what news is relevant to your audience, and all that kind of stuff. And also maybe give them a direct line to get in touch with your studio as well, if you want to start taking requests or you want your listeners to engage with whoever's on the air. Having a home, a dedicated space for your listeners to engage with is really, really important. Next up, it's about keeping your audience engaged. Now, I mentioned before about allowing people to get in touch with you, perhaps submitting song requests or shout outs or that kind of thing. But the cool thing about having your own mobile app is you can actually get in touch with your listeners directly using something called push notifications. Push notifications are basically, it's a permission-based thing. When you install an app, quite often it will ask you, do you want this app to send you notifications? So if you're running, say, a special promotion or a competition, or if you've got a special event that's launching on your radio station and you want to tell your listeners about it, you can actually broadcast a push notification, reminding your listeners to tune in or directing them to your app and actually getting them to engage and open back up the app. And again, it's a good way of keeping people entertained, reminding them that you're there. Don't let them forget about you. Again, you've got to be careful not to abuse this feature. If you're sending out push notifications every single day, the chances are, you're going to piss people off. They're going to go away. You're going to get lots and lots of app uninstalls. But if you use it cleverly and you give people a real reason to come back and listen again, it can be really, really beneficial, and it can really help grow your audience numbers and encourage people to come back listening again and again. The other things you can do with apps is actually allow your listeners to build it into their daily routines. What I mean by this is doing stuff like setting alarms or even setting sleep timers. So someone might want to wake up with your radio station, they might want to fall asleep listening to it. These features are built into apps. Again, it allows your listeners to kind of build your radio station, build your stream into their daily routine. If you look at any of the big broadcasting groups, they have now got their own apps, which kind of work as like a hub for listening. So I'm talking about the likes of things like iHeartMedia or the BBC. Both of these groups have got dedicated apps. You can listen to multiple radio stations through these apps You can engage with the radio stations. You can do things like look at what songs currently playing, what songs have been previously played, what's coming up on the schedule, and it gives you a real hub and sense of, I suppose, belonging as a listener to engage with that radio station or that platform as a whole. Again, it's fantastic for cross promotion. Perhaps you run multiple radio channels, perhaps you're covering off different genres, etc. Having an app which will allow you to actually create those channels and allow your listeners to tune in to a variety of different music can be really, really powerful and engaging for your audience as well. Next up, apps are a fantastic way to identify who your audience are and also reward them potentially. There's a few things you can do here. Firstly, when you have an app in the App Store, this data can be used as a tool when it comes to pitching for advertisers or sponsors. You can prove how many daily listeners you've got, how much interaction you're getting via the app, how many downloads you've had on the App Store. You can also do things like encourage your listeners to write reviews for your app as well. Again, this looks good for potential sponsors or advertisers, but it also looks good to other listeners as well. So make sure you're incentivizing your listeners to go out and write reviews and also go out and download the app. You know, you can even do something like say, well, if you download our app, you're automatically going to be entered into a competition to win X. And you could do something along the lines of, you know, they download the app, they click on a button within the app, they fill out a form, and they're entered into the competition. It's really, really useful, and you can use that as a tool on air when your presenters or your DJs are, you know, running their shows, and try and persuade people to actually go out and download the app, because again, sometimes it's one of these things that people don't always do. You can nag them to hell, say, go download our app, But if you actually give them an incentive and a reason to do so, it can be a really handy tool to actually do that. Next up, apps make your station more shareable. Everyone is constantly on their smartphones these days, and if someone's listening to your radio station on an app, perhaps they're sat on, say, the train on the way to work, and they hear something funny and they want to share it with their friends, the share button's right in front of them. Apps are inherently shareable, and it makes your station very much more shareable than if perhaps they were listening via a third-party app, or if they're sat listening using a smart speaker, because smart speakers are fantastic when it comes to listening to radio, but they're not really very good at allowing people to actually share that content with other people. The cool thing with apps now as well is you can link them directly to messaging services. So perhaps you could have a line to your studio on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or Telegram. All of these services you can integrate directly with your app and encourage your listeners to get involved with the conversation. So you can almost have like a direct line between you or your studio and the listeners. Previously, this wasn't as easily doable, or maybe it was like more of a one-way thing, because yeah, sure, you could get people to text in, or you might get people to send an email, but it wasn't always possible to respond to them in real time. Actually having WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook Messenger all built into your app or connected up, so listeners can easily send you messages at a snap, get involved with the on-air conversation, is a really, really powerful tool. Again, it helps with word of mouth, and it will help ultimately create more buzz, more conversation around your station. Okay, so to summarize, if you haven't already created a dedicated app for your radio station, both the iOS or Apple app stores and also the Android app stores, then it's definitely time to do so. There are over 6 billion devices out there in the world which allow people to install your app directly onto their phone or their tablet. Radio apps have been around for like 10 years, but they've evolved over time. And we've been working on something really exciting behind the scenes at radio.co. We've been working on a brand new app builder, which is super feature rich, allows you to create really advanced apps, and allows you to basically build it without any technical knowledge whatsoever. Now, we've had a huge amount of interest for these. They've been a little bit elusive because we've been working on them for quite some time, and we've already got a waiting list. But if you want to get involved, or you want to find out more about what we've been working on, I'd like to kind of give you a little shortcut so you can find out a bit about our app builders, how they could work with your radio station, and also some of the features that they offer you. And a lot of the features that we've implemented address a lot of the issues that I've mentioned, or the things that I mentioned in this video. So head to jamesm.com/apps. That's jamesm.com/apps. Enter your details there, and I'll be in touch with you to give you a bit of a guided tour of the apps and talk about how you can really leverage the power of the apps for your radio station. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it useful, please give me a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe for more content like this. Take it easy. Bye for now.